The Dungeon Master Experience is a series of articles written by Chris Perkins in Dungeon Magazine in 2011. The following readings are his words, and though produced before the current edition, still contains great insights, advice, and tips for Dungeon Masters for any edition, and for that matter, any TTRPG. Love Letter to Ed Greenwood, 10/13/2011, Monday night. A woman walks into a tavern. She's beautiful and voluptuous, wearing the finery of a noble and a devil-may-care smile. She prances around like she owns the place, flirts with the patrons, plays with her shoulder-length auburn curls, and finishes off a free tankard of mead in record time. A bard strums his lute, driving the free-spirited woman to dance, much to the delight of a dozen drooling admirers. When Kith Villar, played by Jeff Alvarez, slyly turns his head to admire her reflection on the nighttime glass of a nearby window, gone is the lady's striking beauty. In her place, he sees a twirling, dancing skeleton with bones of polished bronze. One thing that classic fantasy stories have in common, apart from a preponderance of fantasy tropes, is an exhaustive cast of characters. Scores of characters populate J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings trilogy, Terry Brooks's Shannara series, and George R.R. Martin's A Song of Fire and Ice series. When one sets out to create a new world, it probably goes without saying that populating the world with fascinating characters is a priority. Few creative forces in the universe are better at this game than Ed Greenwood, whose stories are rich with timeless characters that totally belong in his world and yet never cease to surprise. I'm in the third year of my Ayamantra campaign. While my players joke about the cast of thousands, the actual number of unique NPCs that they've encountered so far is closer to 750, which I suppose means that the 1000 mark isn't beyond the realm of reason. Still, my list pales in comparison to Ed's panoply of Forgotten Realms characters and NPCs, which he has created over many decades. And yet every time Ed introduces a new personality to the Forgotten Realms setting, there's always something about it that's novel. For example, in the upcoming Eye on the Realms article, Ed introduces us to a beholder named Uldath, whose physical form was nearly obliterated. All that remains of the creature are 10 disembodied eye stalks that hover in midair. That's something I've never seen done before, and you can bet that I'm going to spirit his creation out of Faerun and drop Uldath into my home campaign at the first opportunity. Many DMs I've talked to have trouble coming up with interesting new NPCs, and even the best of us can't always conjure something out of thin air whenever a player character decides to stop some random schmo on the street and ask for his name and backstory. But Ed can. I've witnessed it firsthand. He pulls names and hooks out of the ether. It's the gift of a creative genius and an experienced story writer to turn a faceless entity who didn't exist 2 seconds ago into a fleshed out character with more going on beneath the skin than the rest of us can imagine. Maybe Joe Schmo is actually Orvius Trulash, a necromancer in disguise, who's on his way to broker a deal with a corrupt city official to acquire bones and body parts from the local cemetery. Or maybe it's Griggly Muffinstock, a halfling adventurer who was ensorcelled by an archmage to always speak the truth, no matter how embarrassing or inappropriate. He might be looking for a way to rid himself of the curse, or he might be performing a service to gain the archmage's favor. Granted, these are my ideas, not Ed's, but if you're familiar with Ed's work, you'll probably catch a whiff of Greenwood in these characterizations. Lessons learned. I've been following Ed's career in a not creepy way since I was 10 years old, long before I got to know the man personally and work with him professionally. Without even trying, Ed taught me 2 things about NPC creation. 1, the character's name can tell you a little something about the character and the setting. And 2, distinctive physical traits and personality quirks are great, but an NPC needs only one thing to be captivating: a secret. I've already discussed names in an earlier article, and Ed is a master at conjuring them, but the second point is really the thrust of this week's column. One secret to creating awesome NPCs is to give them secrets. Secrets invest your campaign with intrigue and invite role-playing. A secret can make the player characters want to get to know your NPC creation better. How did Oldeth end up without a body? Why is Orvius Turlash giving the adventurers nervous looks? Could he be heading to a secret rendezvous? What secrets can we learn from the annoyingly forthright Griggly Muffinstock? What did the halfling do to deserve such a curse? And finally, what's the deal with the dancing vixen, whose true form Kit Valar glimpses in a window reflection? Players who like to roleplay not only like to invest their own characters with secrets, but also like to pry into the secrets of others. And I've found that a little mystery surrounding an NPC can fuel hours of tireless, unadulterated fun. At least that's what Ed taught me. That, and when to use the word vixen. Until the next encounter. Also, don't forget to follow the link in the description to pick up my first ever adventure and setting for free on Patreon and DriveThruRPG now. Dive into the desert region of Gondolar as adventurers making their way to the budding city town of Silt Pass in search of gold, glory, and answers to the secrets of a long-lost empire. In this first adventure, your heroes will defend the Dune Dancer, a sandcutter airship from a legendary group of bandits known as the Stormbringers. Do you have what it takes to stop the Stormbringers and their bombastic leader Theroch, or will you make a deal with the devil of the sands and join them? Decide your destiny in the first of 6 adventures. TSI, Theroch, Stormbringer, Ironmane.